Today, we are here with Ricardo Ventura, and he's going to tell me about some analysis he did on a few videos of witnesses from Varginha. After the intro. Hello, I'm Edison Boaventura, here with my friend Ricardo Ventura. Almost namesakes. All that's missing is the boa, right? From Boaventura, and I took part in a really cool show. I'll leave it in the descriptions of this video so you can go there and check out that appearance, which was brilliant. It's about the Varginha case. And I wanted to ask you, Ricardo, you did some witness analyses, right? You do that. You check if the person is lying or not, right? Music.
And then
I'd like you to talk a little with us about these analyses, about these important witnesses from Varginha. Cool. Music.
I actually did it, first of all, for myself. In fact, I revealed it to you on the day we were chatting, right? About the truthfulness of the girl's testimony, Valkyria Liliani, right? Music.
And Katya.
And Katya. So they saw something, that's a fact. They remember, they make all the facial expressions, the eye movements. When they have to remember, they go through all the expressions of recalling memories. The internal dialogue is consistent. Not just the three girls, but also that lady, what was her name? The one from the zoo music.
It's Mrs. Terezinha Gallo-Kleps.
Her too, I analyzed her, and she was very consistent, remembering having all the facial expressions of memory again. She saw something, I can't say what, but I can say that she saw something. Unlike tradition, the girls and the doctor experienced the same thing. Italo not only has the whole look, he has all the silent language of someone who is remembering. He positions himself in the scene using a psychogeographic approach, meaning he recalls and observes the place. He looks at the positioning, what happened that day, how it was, and it's very, very consistent. So, they saw something again. I can't say for sure what they saw, but they definitely saw something different from the usual, different from their everyday life. And it sparked a lot of curiosity, both for ordinary people and in different places. The doctor, a surgeon experienced with bodies, autopsies, and surgeries, still practices. A neurosurgeon, so you have everyone from ordinary people to people who know the anatomy of a being, of a body, and there was no way to mistake it for something very different from what they would expect or see in their daily lives. In other words, people. I don't think it was Mudinho, especially because of Mudinho. The girls had known him since they were children. They used to go there. So the memory would be different, the reaction would be different. So that's what I can contribute in this case.
And the distance they were from Mudinho was very close, so they would know it was that young man with a certain disability.
Given how far they were from the figure, there was no chance of confusion. I'll just point out one thing, that as time goes by, people start adding other layers. Sometimes they begin to recall memories and stories which are not the original ones. So I talk about the original ones. They're very consistent. But as time goes by, people start adding stories, mixing them with other stories, and then you notice that. So those original reports, the first ones, those that came right in the days after, sometimes not even 2 or 3 months later, those are very accurate, but after that, the others start to get contaminated.
You can even notice the emotion, the fear there in the girls' expressions.
Yeah, and it's funny that when they come back now in this one, I think it's from Globoplay, right? That documentary where the three of them come back now as young ladies, right? They come back as grandmas, they're already grandmas, and even her mother is already a great-grandmother, right? Because one of them is already a grandma. They go through that catharsis again, getting emotional about what they saw, and they're sure they saw it. And just like they said, right? They were called liars and fantasists who just wanted attention, and that really hurt them. And you realize that really when they ask, the reporter asks, maybe you wish you hadn't gone through that. They say they wouldn't want that because it only brought trouble and problems to their life. They gained nothing from it. In fact, it was the opposite.
And the mockery too, because once when I was talking to them, they said they even went to church, an evangelical church and all. Then people would say, oh, the ET girls over there and so on. So they made fun of them, right? So it was really bad. That kind of thing they had to put up with their whole lives.
Even to this day. And I think that maybe my analysis will help ease their minds a little, because in fact, I guarantee they saw something. And that lady from the zoo and the doctor, that's absolutely certain.
So that's it. Liliane Valkyria, Katia, Mrs. Teresina Galuklepfi, and Dr. Italo Venturelli, who is a doctor that spoke recently, even on Ricardo Ventura's channel. There's a full analysis there for you to see, including this latest one from Dr. Italo. All these 5 witnesses from the Varginha case told the truth, right? They went through a real experience. Now, I want to give you a challenge. There are other witnesses in the Varginha case that I personally don't trust very much. One of them is the guy who saw it. He's old now too, who is Carlos de Souza. He said he saw the crash of the craft at the Maiolini farm. I wanted you to analyze.
Whether it's the caretaker or the geography teacher.
He's an ultralight pilot who was going along the Ferno Diaz highway. You know, he's a teacher, he's a teacher, he's the teacher, he's the teacher. So I'd like you to analyze this and then we'll talk later. Besides this one, it would be interesting for you to analyze the speech that I tell you about.
The one about the ultralight.
Why? Have you already done it? I have, so tell me.
I think it has a fanciful side. When he talks about that guy from the army who loaded the fusil automatique léger and put it to his head, there I didn't feel much consistency.
Couldn't it be that maybe he saw something, but the other part of the story he just believed?
That he added. I think one part, yes, he drew attention, but then this part about him being approached, that's the part I don't. I couldn't find much, and his approach is actually the opposite of the doctor's. He puts himself in we call it psychogeographic. It's when you put yourself in the scene, and he doesn't put himself in the scene the way he should remember. He speaks in the first person. So this completely distorts the way he tells it. So he's telling it, I saw, it happened, I was like this, I got there. Then when it gets to this part, he set it up and he puts himself in the soldier's place, and then it gets distorted.
Because then maybe he's already creating that scene.
It could be to give it some credibility.
Back then, I remember there was a movie playing on the afternoon session called Incident in Rosa, where he says he squeezes the metal and it goes back, which is exactly what's in the scene. So maybe he made it up, right? At least you've seen it, and it looks like you noticed that. Another inconsistency I noticed was that he said the soldier hit his hand, right? And the metal would fall to the ground. And now, in this hearing that took place in the United States, he said he let go. He was the one who let go. I mean,
this part, I think like this. He saw something, he went after that thing, that's it. From there on, I don't believe it anymore, you know?
I understand.
The analysis lacks clarity.
I understand now. Another one I wanted you to analyze is the statement by Dr. Ubirajara Franco Rodriguez, who was the #1 researcher. And now in this report for Global Network, he says there that it's the mute guy. I don't know what, but I feel like he's kind of uncomfortable. So I wanted you to analyze it because I'm fully convinced that he said it changed. Let's put it this way. All this speech, because of some kind of pressure, some different motivation, that's it.
You know, that's the situation. I'll be very transparent with you. That's what it is. For me, Ubirajara has 2 moments. The moment with the girls and the moment after all the commotion that was created around that. And we already know that many things that happened afterwards were fabricated, were exaggerated. I have a few questions for you. That's why you're here, right? So I think there are 2 moments for Ubirajara. One when he believes, and another when they started creating so many side stories, so many things to give credibility to this central point that he ended up not believing in anything anymore. So, yeah, I think he does believe that the girls had contact with something, but there were so many things around it that he stopped believing in most of them. So I think that how do we say it, because of the whole picture. I think he started to say, look, no.
But didn't he say on television it was a mute guy, that part?
I don't remember.
So that's the part I want you to analyze. And another thing that would be interesting is that people sometimes keep talking like this. Vittorio Pacatini said that in 2012 he saw a 35-second tape, and so I wanted you to analyze that too. Some say he's lying or making it up, others disagree. He really saw it, so suddenly analyzing the context, he comes forward and talks about this fact. Maybe you catch something and confirm, right, whether he's telling the truth or not, right? Because it's to clear up this doubt once and for all, right? And later on, there will be other testimonies from military personnel as well. I'll put them in your hands so we can do a proper analysis. Now tell me something, OVNIs. Have you ever had the chance to see anything?
No. I remember seeing some things when I was a child, or maybe more as a teenager. Later, I found out it was a shooting star or a satellite because there were those usual routes, or just a shooting star. Sometimes it's not a star, but an object entering the atmosphere and catching fire. I've seen that, and also the satellites you can see, which follow that very predictable path.
The straight line, the movement, right? The straight line movement and constant speed.
That's what I remember. I even mentioned it to you before. I think it was in the 80s, maybe 85, 86. That in Sao Paulo, there were several people who saw something, and there were even images. And to this day, no one has given me an explanation.
It was in May of 86.
It was in May of 86. In fact, there was a guy there who was working on an advertising campaign or recording something, and he ended up managing to record a sphere.
It was the Mixon team. Daniel was up there with his team, and they filmed this object. This tape, I already have it.
Nobody could explain what that was.
It became known as the official night of the Look at That.
So, yeah, that's how it is. It's good. I think it's good to leave people wanting more, so that's it.
I'll pass it to him, we'll analyze it, and then bring it exclusively to you. I wanted to thank you once again for welcoming me. And leave your final words, talk about your personal channel, tell people to subscribe.
Look, there's the chat with Edison here on Pela Fechadura, and today there will be another chat as well. And I'm sure that since this year marks the 30th anniversary of the appearance of the Varginha ET, we'll have a lot of topics to discuss. Stay tuned on social media, especially YouTube, for Don't Lie to Me, where the analyses are more in-depth.
That's it. Keep supporting us until the next live video podcast with Edison Boaventura. Thanks. See you next time.